shameless. Again, you cannot shame the shameless.
You know?
That's the good
What are
thing
you
about being
celebrating?
shameless. I'm definitely celebrating myself for showing up. I've been showing up even in times when I feel like I don't want to show up. But I've been showing up, and I'm also celebrating my man and my lovely sisters, even as we approach Women's Day on 8th of March.
Yeah, so the theme this year for International Women's Day 2026 is Give to Gain. And this is a powerful reminder that progress is accelerated through generosity, collaboration, and shared support. This is the global goal for this year's International Women's Day 2026. We're being encouraged to, just be generous. Share with with the girls. Somebody said something here on the show, a relationship Wednesday, before I forget about it, that there's something called toxic feminism, that is making women think that now they are above and beyond men. And I wonder what you think about feminism. Are you a feminist?
Well, in some instances, yes. In some instances, I like to pull back, but I would count myself as a feminist.
You are?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
well,
power to the girl child, power to the woman. And I mean, I want to see women winning. Why not?
Why not? But do you think there's something like toxic feminism? Personally, I'm not a feminist, but I do support women who are feminists because I do understand what they stand for, the concept of, equality and all. But when people say toxic feminism, what is feminism? Femininity, toxic feminist. I feel like most, especially the other gender, haven't really understood what feminism is. Such that when you talk about feminism, they always think it's time and time again against the man.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think being a feminist is not just about the man.
Yes.
Yeah, it could be you fighting for
equal rights.
Because I see, like, for example, like the story that happened to Marion. It was quite unfortunate. But a lot of women came out to support her.
Yeah.
I mean, there are instances where it's not purely about a man being involved, but you're just uplifting and celebrating fellow women and just fighting for your fellow woman. Because, I mean, women, we are trolled a lot, especially on social media.
We are.
As in, post tu kitu kidogo, oh, you're showing too much skin. You look like this, oh, your face is too pimpled.
You're fat, you're
fat.
Slim.
Oh, come on.
It's a lot
happening.
Yeah. And of course, TFGBV is also on the rise. That is technology facilitated gender-based violence. And women are disproportionately affected by this. And like you said, when a woman posts a photo, you might find it very innocent, and especially this is quite prominent on X. I see a lot of bullying. You see a very, very pretty girl has posted a photo of themselves, just a selfie, and then the backlash that they're facing. Oh, Mara, you umeweka maua kwa kichwa, you look like pay tribute to your dead brain.
First of all, the person who invented filters invented them for them to be used.
Yes.
Where to me appear?
Once again, it's International Women's Day, this Sunday, the 8th of March, 2026. We wish you a happy International Women's Day. We hope that you celebrate yourself for just holding on and for betting on yourself. That is a very, very important thing. As long as you bet on yourself, you are winning. The theme once again this year is Give to Gain. So support your fellow women.
I mean, it's also important to celebrate your fellow women.
Your
female friends, your mom, your sisters. Those female that are just your circle that hold you together when times are falling apart.
Absolutely.
Even as you celebrate yourself this Women's Day that's supposed to happen this coming Sunday, that's the 8th of March. Make sure you're celebrating the women around you.
Absolutely.
And even for the gentlemen, please, it's not just for the women. Even for the gentlemen, celebrate your women. And when I say women, I'm not just talking about girlfriend, ama sidri, baby
even
mama.
colleagues.
Even colleagues.
Yes.
Jemo, I'm waiting for you to celebrate me. Thank you.
I could say a lot of things about Women's Day. Somebody said women actually hate each other. And sometimes we prove them right.
I agree. That one I completely agree.
Yes, because sometimes...
Especially with the digital era.
Yes.
I think I'll side with
women pitting, against each other, So at least we should look out for that. Give to gain, celebrate each other. Let's take a look at the state of the weather. And once again, happy International Women's Day, because we might not see you again on Sunday. All right, let's take a look at the state of the weather across the country, and we start off in Isiolo. It's a mostly cloudy day today, and it's likely to rain. This morning it's 17 degrees, highs of 24 degrees expected today. In Narok, heavy rains this morning, and Emurua Dikir, Member of Parliament, the late Johanna Ngeno, will be laid to rest today in Narok. It's 14 degrees this morning, highs of 21 degrees expected today, and my colleague Apollo Kamau is there. We'll be talking to him later on in the course of this show. Mary is also raining this morning, and it's 13 degrees, highs of 19 degrees expected today. We take a look at Machakos, heavy rains expected today as well. It's raining this morning and it's 15 degrees, highs of 22 degrees expected today. In Migori, it's a mostly cloudy day. It's likely to rain. It's 16 degrees this morning, highs of 22 degrees expected. Trans Nzoia, heavy rains this morning and it's 13 degrees, highs of 22 degrees expected in Trans Nzoia County today. That's the state of the weather.
All right, now let's take a look at the quote of the day.
Always do your best. What you plant now, you will harvest later.
And of course, it's now time to look at what has been happening in the dailies. Tuangalie magazeti. We begin with the Daily Nation, and now the top story. Very interesting read. State House budget doubles to 17 billion shillings, all right? The State House budget for the current financial year has doubled to 17 billion following an additional 8 billion media allocation under a constitutional clause reserved for emergency spending without prior approval by the National Assembly. Analysts at the Parliamentary Budget Office warn the provision is routinely exploited by the government to allocate funds for expenditures that would otherwise not be classified as unforeseen. Budget ya State House inapanda tu.
Inapanda tu. This year's spending by the President Office is the highest.
Kanisa ilimaliza kujengwa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kanisa ilijengwa na kina nani? Kanisa litajengwa na kina
na taxes za Wakenya. Mwingine kwanza, this 17 billion, now they have allocated an additional 8 billion for emergency spending. What's emergency?
Now let me give you context. The financial year ends in June 31st each year, right?
All right.
So last year, the National Assembly, of course, appropriated about 8.6 billion shillings for State House. This included 7.7 billion in recurrent expenditures and about 894 million thereabout in development. Now, this allocation, like the Daily Nation reports this morning, shot to 16.998 billion shillings, which of course they've rounded it off to 17 billion shillings. So they said 16.1 billion shillings iliongezeka, but now 16.1 billion shillings went to recurrent expenditure. But remember that allocation, the 894 million that was for development, stagnate. Unajua, imetoka from 8.4. Another 8 billion shillings has been, added to State House, of course, for reasons that they know best to them. Lakini development is stagnant. They're using that money for something else. Development, stagnant at 894.91 million shillings. Again, we look at the Daily Nation has really outlined it very nicely here from 2013 up until 2026. And as we can see here in this projection, 2025-2026 financial year is the highest spending. National Assembly initially allocated 8.6 billion shillings. This has now shot to 16.99 billion shillings in a year, and the financial year is not even over yet. We are in February.
That's crazy.
Imagine.
That's crazy.
Can you imagine at Tukitembe up until June 31st, how much State House itakuwa imespend? Will they now need more to spend, you know, development or even recurrent expenditure? Now that development funds is stagnated at 894 million shillings.
The question is, why isn't development funds being allocated much more?
So the thing is, even if it's given much more, they're not using it. Because you see, they were given 894 million. They haven't used it. It's still, you know, stagnated there. And the Controller of Budget, Margaret Nyakango, raised this alarm that State House is overspending. This is a story captured on page 4 and 5 of the Daily Nation this morning.
Okay.
And according to the Parliamentary Budget Office, an expert there, he has been quoted here, and he or she, and they say we need an amendment to the Public Finance Management Act to provide clarity on expenditures. Under Article 223 of the Constitution, as currently structured, the National Treasury will continue to abuse the Constitution, and we may end with a discredited budget regime. So it looks like Treasury is just, you know, approving, according to this story right here in the inside pages.
Okay, but I think still on the front page of the Daily Nation, I see that an interesting read right here. The court allows police drug raids without warrants, okay? Now, the story continues on page 8. Police can raid your home without a warrant over drugs. Police officers can lawfully enter a suspect's home and conduct searches without a court warrant in narcotics investigations where reasonable suspicion exists, the High Court has ruled. Sasa mapedi hawana bahati. Kama wewe ni pedi, wacha nikwambie, this guys wanaweza kutokelezea anytime.
Na hakuna kile utadu.
Hakuna kitu utadu. The court has decided. I think it's a good move, but bad for business, for other people.
Sasa wakikukujia sasa nitakuprotect.
But please do not involve me.
That's a story on page 8.
I mean,
we have another interesting story here. It's not quite interesting. It's a sad story, actually. Cancer patients turned away as Kenyatta National Hospital machine breaks down. It says that patients at KNH have been left without access to advanced radiotherapy for 2 months after the linear accelerator known as the LINAC machine broke down. The breakdown has reduced the hospital's oncology capacity by half. KNH ordinarily attends to about 100 cancer patients every day. This is a story on page 3 of the Daily Nation, but it's also on the front page of the Daily Nation this morning. Pale chini kabisa, it has been covered there. Still on matters health there has been given prominence on the front page of the Daily Nation. It's here, and page 10 as well. Teachers threaten strike over SHA woes. The KUPPET has told the social authority, that is SHA, Social Health Authority Management, to address their members' grievances within 7 days or brace for tutor strike. Looks like SHA hawalipi walimu, hawalipi insurance.
That's quite sad.
The KUPPET are really, you know, campaigning for SHA to actually pay for the insurance so that they can get treated.
And I mean, the story on KNH is quite sad
because,
I mean, a lot of Kenyans are depending on KNH.
Yeah.
It's quite unfortunate.
Right. It's the same story on Taifa Leo this morning, so that we can just do away with stories about State House and all that. Taifa Leo also highlights the story on State House. Ikulu isiyoshiba. Ikulu yetu haishibi. Bajeti ya Ikulu kwa mwaka wa kifedha wa mwaka 2025 mwaka 2026 imepanda mara 2 kufikia shilingi bilioni 16.998 baada ya kutengewa pesa zaidi katikati ya mwaka kutokana na matumizi bila idhini ya bunge. So we cannot actually, what I think this is talking about, according to my own analysis, is that State House imeshindwa to live within its means. it's overspending.
But the president Manyendo anasema we should live within our means.
You know, but you know, preaching what? Preaching water
while drinking wine.
Drinking wine. You know, how do you explain you being given 8 billion shillings and then it doubles to another 8 billion shillings which cannot be accounted for? Ofisi ya bajeti ya bunge PBO yasema ombi la fedha zaidi la kiuka katiba na ni ukosefu wa nidhamu ya kifedha. I had not seen that. Ukosefu wa nidhamu ya kifedha. And I echo what Mwalimu has said here. That really is lack of financial discipline, if you ask me.
I agree.
This story is on page 2. Vidokeze zaidi, wizara ya kiri maambukizi ya mafua yamezidi. Ni wizara ya afya imetangaza kuongezeka kwa maambukizi ya homa ya mafua katika maeneo mengi nchini. Sana this station of ours.
People are sick.
People are sick. Director nimesikia kikohoa before show ianze. I've told producer. Kila mtu anakuwa. I've told producer ukienda huko ukae na wao wakupatie homa because you know we interact with producer a lot.
Yeah.
Asitulete hiyo homa.
Please. But I think there's a bad cold going around.
Yes.
Could it be because of the weather?
Most likely.
Yes.
Because it's very, very cold. Mvua kila mahali, weather for two, lakini
weather for uji.
Weather for uji. You know, actually uji sio uji ya
former president.
Ya unye.
Real uji. Yeah.
Upinzani wakataa hazina. Upinzani umeomba bunge kukataa mswada wa wizara ya fedha kuhusu miundombinu 2026. This is talking about the National Infrastructure Fund, which was approved by Parliament yesterday and is expected to be assented into law by President William Ruto anytime from now. So the United Opposition is actually against that bill, which is about to be law. Watu 200 wafariki timboni nchini DRC ni habari nyingine katika ukurasa wa 8 wa gazeti la Taifa Leo. Na kule juu, Oburu wa kunja ngumi ODM. Kinara ODM aitisha mkutano wa wajumbe wenye agenda moja kumuidhinisha. Gazeti la Taifa Leo.
Alright, nikiangalia the Standard, ticking time bomb for Wilson Airport, waiting for deaths, okay? Now, warnings have been issued, reports written, the latest released just last week, and protest held, yet little has changed at Nairobi's Wilson Airport. Crumbling runways, failing rescue systems, skyscrapers creeping into fight paths, and political interferences have left the busy air hub dangerously exposed, with more than 120,000 aircraft movements every year inside. One, Wilson is overstretched, poorly regulated, and edging towards disaster.
Now, what this story is talking about is the Wilson disaster, they call it. And they just ask, do we really care? And I think this is asking us, since you water as a nation, do we really care about what's happening at Wilson? They just oppose it with this story right here, hapa chini, where that red arrow is pointing at. This story that talks about ticking time bomb. They talked about this story sometime last year. I think it was around July, if I'm not wrong, because I can't see this clearly. But this report, they did it previously, and they will say that Wilson Airport iko na mashida mingi. Kuna watu wamejenga hapo illegally. There are a lot of, I don't know how to
There's a lot of things going on.
A lot of things going on at Wilson Airport, which inaweka
cause danger,
pilots' lives at risk, passengers' lives at risk. And what it really said when they covered this story, the ticking time bomb story, it said that there's a northern Kenyan politician who was accused of twisting regulators into green lighting and authorized skyscrapers along critical approach, approach path. Along the Wilson Airport. So ideally what the Standard has covered this morning, they're talking about deteriorating infrastructure at Wilson Airport. A 2023 multi-sectoral technical committee found Wilson Airport suffering from damaged runways, leaking pipes, poor drainage, rusted roofs, and weak power backup systems. Thousands of planes take off and land at Wilson annually, including training flights and commercial ones. Aviation insiders point to poor air traffic control coordination and a culture of impunity. Now, 40 enforcement notices were issued to errant developers near Wilson Airport, but no action has been taken. And March 5th, 2024, yesterday, a deadly mid-air accident that date when a Cessna 172, that is yesterday, training aircraft collided mid-air with the Safari Link -8. So the Standard is asking, do we really care about the Wilson disaster? Mbona hakuna kitu?
Like, what are you guys doing about it? Why are you just sitting pretty?
They're actually sitting pretty. Yeah. We are all of us are sitting pretty as a nation.
Yeah, we are.
That's the only story given prominence on the front page of the Standard this morning.
All right, but when I take a look at the third page of the Standard, and this is quite an interesting story, especially for the entertainment industry and people who just naturally enjoy watching shows on Showmax. It's end of an era for Showmax, as Showmax exits the stage after a stream of losses. Now, the multi-choice service had positioned itself as the leading streaming platform in Africa. Now, with Showmax exit, leaves a noticeable gap for locally commissioned content. They've been in Kenya for 11 years.
Wow.
But wamesema it's not working for them. But they're coming up with something else. And I think this is such a big opportunity for local content creators and local movies to be put in other local platforms, yeah? There are not so many, but I think if we utilize this opportunity well, it could work in our favor, because I mean, with the exit of Showmax now, the most used movie streaming app right now is Netflix. So
yes.
Probably. And I mean, Showmax really accommodated a lot of Kenyan content, a lot of Kenyan series, Kenyan movies. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's on the third page of...
Isn't that a blow to Kenyan movies?
I mean, it could be both ways. It's a blow, and we could see this as an opportunity to come up with our own thing. Right. Yeah, I mean, because they say the substantial annual losses experienced by the Showmax business have proved to be unsustainable. Yep. Lakini nilikuwa nimekuona umeshikilia gazeti ya Taifa Leo, the back page. What does the back page of that gazette say?
Let me tell you, thank you for reminding me. Yesterday we talked about our winners, Arsenal. You know, Fred and I, we support Arsenal. And I know you're a Man United fan. I wonder, unasikiaje?
Team kubwa bado ni moja.
Hakuna.
Let me tell you, Arsenal is 7 points ahead clear, okay? But it's important to know that Man City has a game in hand. And if Man City wins the game in hand, and
you're still hopeful.
I am very hopeful. Let me tell you, we'll have this conversation at the end of the season, and Man City would have won the league. Quote me on that.
Arsenal yanusia kombe la EPL. Arsenal still on top of the table. Ubabe, they call it. Man City wakidondosha alama baada ya kutoka sare ya 2-2 nyumbani dhidi ya Nottingham Forest Jumatano usiku. A win for us, Arsenal, for once. Hata jana tulikuwa na director Inonda na tukapumua kidogo. Let's take a look at what's happening or what the People Daily is saying this morning. Gachagua and Kindiki battle for Mount Kenya supremacy. For the first time in a long time. That's the only story that the People Daily has covered on its front page. They call it Race to 2027 Summit. A lot of people are here on the front page, a lot of leaders. There's, of course, the DP, Kithure Kindiki, former DP Rigathi Gachagua. We have Kimani Ichung'wah, the leader of majority in the National Assembly. CS Geoffrey Ruku is also here. There's also Amit, who is also here on the front page. But what they're saying, I was reading this story that the People Daily has covered this morning. They're talking about an insider, according to an insider, that there are members of parliament who have been told to protect Kithure Kindiki, such that if jobs are being thrown at the deputy president, one day they talk nice things about him, to give the deputy president time to focus on important things, like asikuwe stressed about what people are saying about him. Yeah, ndio sasa akue the actual kingpin of Mount Kenya, politics of the Mount Kenya region.
Okay.
That is what, according to this newspaper, I'm not saying my own things. It's on the page 4 of this.
He can't handle both.
Yeah?
He can't handle both.
He can't handle both. Okay, according to maybe the insider, when ameongelesha People Daily. So, at some point, of course, the deputy president was telling former DP that he's the kingpin of Mount Kenya region. Right. Ni yeye kusema sahi Mount Kenya. This is
sauti ya ground inasema ni wewe.
Sauti ya ground.
That election language has already started.
Yes.
Like, mheshimiwa, ground imekubali inasema ni wewe. Until you get to the ground and realize, oh.
Yeah. Mjaba.
Yeah. It's not what they were saying.
Yeah.
But I think, Odida, even as we're just about to conclude the newspaper review, I mean, it's important because we're celebrating Women's Day on 8th of March, and I want to take a look at what is being talked about on the page 2 of Standard, that is the Pulse, and it talks about a generation of female artists reshaping the continent's musical identity. They have highlighted Uncle Waffles all the way from South Africa. We have Arya Star from Nigeria, Thames from Nigeria, and of course our ladies from right here in the 254, Bridget Blue, Njerai, and Nikita Kering. And I definitely believe that these are the artists who are revolutionizing the female game in Africa. Okay, I mean, Uncle Waffles has given birth to a lot of DJs because she's a DJ and she's an artist as well. She creates beats as well. Now we're seeing the rise of the likes of Kina Cheyenne Bougie. So yeah, I mean, what a way to celebrate Women's Day, because from soulful ballads and Afrobeats anthems to rhythms of amapiano, artists like Njerai, Nikita Kering, Bridget Blue, Arya Star, Thames, and Uncle Waffles are pushing boundaries and proving that women are at the forefront of Africa's ever-evolving music scene.
All right, let's take a look at what the Star is saying this morning, if you can just have the physical copy.
Right.
It talks about MPs ring-fence 5 trillion shillings Reuters Roads Fund to lock out fraud. It talks about they removed clause that allowed it to raise loans independently. This is about the National Infrastructure Fund, NIF. Today the Star is quite heavy, and I think it's because of the Siasa pullout. Being a weekend, we have the Siasa pullout here. This story has been captured on page 4 and 5. The National Infrastructure Fund has been fought somehow by, a section of opposition leaders who think that this is something that lacks, some sort of, yes, this story is on page 4 and 5, Director. They say that credibility is in question of this fund, but what the government really wants to do with this fund, where the money intends to come from, the 5 trillion Kenyan shillings, is through sale of government assets. And they've started by things like Safaricom, KPC as well, Kenya Pipeline Company, and of course East Africa Portland Cement. The proceeds will go into the fund as is expected by the government, but now others are saying, opposition is saying that maybe the government wants to use this for political gain ahead of 2027. This 5 trillion Kenyan shillings. They don't know where this money will go to, who will get this money exactly. Like a lot of loopholes. Wanasema maybe this money will go to somebody else's pockets.
Yeah.
If the government is able to collect 5 trillion Kenyan
And who are we
shillings.
supposed to hold accountable? Because there needs to be someone we're holding accountable for this amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it says, just to read a bit what this story is talking about, MPs should reject roads fund bill in entirety. That's an expert comment. But lawmakers have significantly tightened controls over President William Ruto's proposed 5 trillion infrastructure fund, stripping it of sweeping financial powers and placing it firmly under constitutional oversight. Now, in far-reaching amendments to the National Infrastructure Fund Bill 2026, the National Assembly's Finance Committee deleted key clauses that would have allowed the fund to borrow independently and operate with broad discretion under the National Treasury. So ideally, initially, the National Treasury was given so much power with this fund, but right now, with the members of Parliament, the National Assembly coming in, National Treasury imetolewa from kukuwa na that much power on the National Infrastructure Fund. Now, instead, legislature has moved to anchor the fund within existing public finance safeguards, ensuring it operates strictly under the Public Finance Management Act and remains subject to direct parliamentary scrutiny. That's the main story on the front page of the Star this morning. Let's take a look at the caricatures this morning.
All right.
And we start off with the one on the People Daily, Star No Stick. This is quite an interesting one. It talks about Linda Mwananchi, what's happening. Unaona ukikula nyama, ukiwa na nyama kwa sahani. I wonder if we have it, we'll have it on the screen very shortly. Ukila nyama kwa sahani. And then zile vitu sijua zinaitwa, is it? There's a name, there's a Kiswahili name. I don't want to call them kulukulu. Or whatever they're called. Unakuja unanyang'anya nyama yako kama umezubaa hapo. Somebody went and registered Linda Mwananchi. Huyo mtu sio Edwin Sifuna, sio Babu Owino. Sasa wanaambiwa as you sit down, nyama yenu inaenda Linda Mwananchi. That's Tano Stake and People Daily. We take a look at the one on this is the Daily Nation. Play of chess here. Is it chess? I think it's chess. This is chess, yeah. So party leader Oburu Odinga amekaa pale, kuna vitu amebeba, anasema can't we discuss zoning? Of course, there's also President William Ruto mwenye inasemekana ana control ODM party. There's also Junet Mohamed pale, party chair lady ako pale pia nyuma, and of course other party leader uko nyuma yule wa Mombasa. But Oburu Odinga anataka waongelee zoning. Alisema they need to talk about which areas za ODM hazifai kukuwa debatable. Kama Nyanza, kama ni Nyanza, their parliamentary seats are not debatable. So party leader anataka waongelee zoning, even as other, ODM leaders wanaona venye chama inapangwa hapo. That's the one on the Daily Nation this morning. We take a look at the one on the Standard, talks about National Infrastructure Fund, the National Treasury CS. John Mbadi is at the center of this. On one hand, he said, we formed a company to manage this fund. On the other hand, it says you can't register the fund as an investment entity. That's the caricature on the Standard this morning. And finally, we take a look at the one on the Star. Talks about what is happening with Linda Mwananchi. There's James Orengo here, Babu Owino and Edwin Sifuna, and somebody's telling them ODM also started just like this, They're wako hapo nje at the office of the ORPP, Registrar of Political Parties. ODM pia mtu aliiba chama akaenda akaregister, ikabidi the late Raila Odinga aende anunue tena chama yake. So that is what is happening with Linda Mwananchi.
The split orange is going to
orange is split.
The orange is split for sure.
All right, that is what is happening, of course, locally. Tukiangalia tu, tukitaja tu juju, what is happening regionally. Daily Monitor, Home Sweet Home, wale sigh of relief from Iran to Turkey and back home via Addis Ababa. The touchdown at Entebbe International Airport last evening was nothing less than a huge sigh of relief for people who are caught up in Iran with regard to the US-Israeli attack on Iran. So Home Sweet Home, there has been repatriation for Ugandans and of course Kenyans as well, as we've seen. And we cross over to Tanzania. Why growth of credit to mining has stopped by 90%. And Mwananchi talks about mtandao wa utapeli wanaswa. That's the main story given prominence on Gazeti la Mwananchi this morning. And that's as far as local dailies, regional dailies are concerned. Today is Youth Perspective. I'll be having the youth on set with me to talk about what is actually happening in the political scene. Youth and mobilization. Watuambie, they are mobilizing for these politicians, but these politicians really giving them the opportunities that maybe are well-deserved. For me, I think it's well-deserved. I don't know if they think they deserve these opportunities. So that's what we'll be talking about, to see or to hear the youth perspective. Stay with us. You're watching Morning Cafe. We'll be back after this break, but interact with us on our socials, TV47 Kenya, on Facebook and on YouTube, or X at TV47 Digital. You can tag us. My handle is at Ann_Odida.
At Miss_Kimuyu.
The hashtag is Morning Cafe TV47. See you after the break.
All right.
Coming to you in 3, 2.
Looking back, I was a serious workaholic. I'd be working all the time. Come in very early, leave probably the following day. Working so hard within the TV industry, I wanted that to be the place where I could prove myself. I literally nearly killed myself working.
Workaholism is a compulsion to work excessively hard and long hours.
I'm Dumi, I'm 20, and I almost wrecked my life trying to work until I just couldn't anymore.
Workaholism is not yet recognized as a medical condition. But psychologists say the symptoms are much like those of someone addicted to gambling or substances.
In high school, I didn't fit into all the cool groups. I finally went into modeling, going to commercials, and I saw a director on set. As soon as I saw him, I was just like, that's where I want to be. That's what I want to do. That was where all the top people were. When I started my internship, I knew that this is an opportunity that I can't let go of. I got to meet presenters, celebrities, and you meet designers, you meet all these cool people, and that was what made me want to work harder.
Workaholics often need to increase their workloads to keep getting the same sense of satisfaction from work. This rise in tolerance is a common sign of addiction.
I never managed to disconnect. I'm not trying to prove myself to other people only. I'm also trying to prove something to myself and to show the people I grew up with that I'm someone worth noting. I'm someone worth respecting as well. And another reason is because I'm the firstborn, first of 6 children. So I wanted to be the one to make sure that I'm out of their pockets and I can carve my own way by myself.
Workaholism isn't necessarily about the number of hours you work, but about your ability to put it aside. If you can't step away, it can lead to chronic stress.
Now I'm thinking about work all the time, less contact with friends. So people are like, dude, let's hang out on Saturday. Sorry, man, no, I have to work. I started missing very simple things such as calling my mom. And for a guy who grew up with a single mother, that's not the greatest thing to do. And from there onwards, I'd missed my best friend's birthday as well.
I became concerned when he started doing a lot more late night shifts than he normally did. That's when I started becoming more concerned about his mental health.
Signs of workaholism include freeing up personal time in order to work, feeling stressed when unable to work, withdrawing socially, and working to avoid feelings of guilt, anxiety, or inadequacy.
I started messing up because I couldn't keep up with all the bookings for like a presenter. I couldn't keep up with all the bookings for a sound guy, for camera, all the different shoot days.
Burnout is closely related to work addiction, and may be its major consequence. There are many early signs of burnout: sleep and stomach issues, headaches, poor concentration, chronic exhaustion, and feeling more irritable.
My breaking point finally hit, and it started impacting my body, where I would be holding something as simple as like a cup of coffee, and I'm trembling. I came home late from a shoot, and next thing I know, I'm dozing off behind the wheel. Had I not just swayed in a different direction, I don't think I'd be here. After the near-death experience, I went to go see the psychologist.
Work addiction can manifest itself physically, but it can also manifest itself mentally and emotionally. And that's when we speak about mental health challenges like anxiety, like depression, or I think one that is most common is that you're unable to just cope with everyday life. You know, things that you found very easy to do, you don't find so easy to do anymore.
I had some childhood things that I hadn't dealt with. Fear of feeling like I'm less than compared to most people.
I think at times you want to seek external validation, and in that way, you really want to work hard to gain the approval of someone else. And the opposite of that is to be internally validated, right? And in that way, you acknowledge your own strengths.
The best asset that I can invest in is myself. That's where I went, okay, let's start with maybe just making more time to go and work out. From that point onward, I realized that maybe also a change of environment would give me something better. And I resigned, started my own company. I'm a lot better now.
All right, welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. You're watching Morning Cafe. This morning, it's being a Friday, it's Youth Perspective. We engage the youth on matters politics and what they think about the current political scene and everything that is happening. We see that Kenyan politics is entering another cycle of realignment. We see movements like Linda Mwananchi, which are drawing crowds across the country. And we also see counter narratives like Linda Ground, which are very much, of course, also drawing crowds in their own way. But at the same time, also alliances are forming around figures like Fred Matiang'i, like Rigathi Gachagua, and as the country slowly begins to position itself for the 2027 elections. Right now, we're talking just, elections 2027. And I say time and time again on this show that if somebody comes to this country right now, he or she will think that we're having election maybe next week because, tushaanza campaigns, ideally. But even at the center of all this activity are young Kenyans who are mobilizing for these politicians. They're mobilizing online, they're feeding these rallies, they're shaping political conversations, literally, the young people. But now the big question this morning that we're asking, are the youth actually shaping these political movements, or are they simply being mobilized to defend leaders and political camps? Talk to us on our socials, TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube. Our next, once again, TV47 Digital. You can also send us a voice note or a video of yourself telling us what you think about our conversation of the day. 0793267279, and my handle is at Ann_Odida. We'll be sure to read your feedback. My guests are already in studio. I have Marion Otieno just right next to me. She's the chairperson, Kajiado County People Renaissance Movement. And of course, I have Ken Babu, Youth Chair, United Opposition. Karibuni sana. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you
I'm wondering
so
why
much.
you're on your phone. Utaki kuongelea matters of the youth this morning. Marian, let's just go right into the question of the day. And I also want to pose it to the both of you so that you can also weigh in on that. Are the youth actually shaping these political movements? Or are they simply being mobilized to defend leaders in this political camps? What do you think?
In my opinion, I think the youth are actually shaping these movements, unlike merely just following political leaders and parties blindly. Because if you look at the demographics of Kenya right now, young individuals are the most, with 35 years and below. So this alone gives us influence of telling each other we need voters registration, we need to vote amongst ourselves, because we, unlike the other times where most of the young people never used to vote. So this is something new. It's gonna be different because the youth are going to turn up. Yeah, so we are going to reshape it. We are actually reshaping.
There's hope. You see hope?
There is hope.
And we'll be getting into that conversation about youth being voters in 2027, because the IEBC has also raised concerns about voter registration apathy. So we'll be talking about that to see just how do you intend to shape the narrative, if at all you are now the eyes to look out for this season. But Ken, what do you think? Are youth shaping these political movements, or are they simply being mobilized to defend politicians and these political camps that are coming up?
Thank you so much, Anne. And first, allow me to appreciate the fact that you guys find it so important to have young people here and converse about pertinent issues around the youth, especially in political discourse and, of course, in terms of economy. What's happening right now is not a question of whether the youth are shaping political movements or they are actually being involved. But what we are witnessing today is a shift, intergenerational shift. The young people are stepping forward to take up the leadership positions, whereas the legacy politicians who have been there for a long time are also finding it so difficult to exit the stage. That's why we are seeing internal wars and wrangles, push and pull from one corner to the other. And these are not things that are only happening in a specific party. These are things that are happening across board. That's why we are seeing Linda Mwananchi, Linda Ground, Linda Mama, and Linda everything. Linda. So the truth, the reality of the matter is the young people are awakened, and they are saying that it's now time. The leadership that we were told that we are leaders of tomorrow, it's now time that we need to come up and actually be those leaders of today. The tomorrow has just arrived. So what we are witnessing is intergenerational conversation and generational war. And young people are saying that the time is right now for us to come on board. If you look at Linda Mwananchi, is almost purely youth-led.
Absolutely.
And if you look at Linda Ground on the other side, there are also some dissenting voices within Linda Ground who are young people who also feels like the Linda Mwananchi camp should be accommodated. But then, look at the faction, the opposition faction as well. There are still cracks between the generation, the earlier generation and the younger generation, who are also feeling like they are not well accommodated. Yesterday we were at the PDF, and we saw young people asking questions to Rigathi Gachagua that what are the structures, what are the mechanisms, how are you guys engaging the young people in the opposition, because you don't see them. We know specific young people who are vocal, who are well placed, who have done a lot, but they are in your camp, but you don't see them. So you see, these are this is a war that is not merely based on are youth being used or taking up positions, but it's a generational war that the young people are pushing to ensure that their space on the table is actually given. And if you look at it largely, the young people are stepping up also to offer themselves for elective positions. Because long over time, we've been told to register as voters and go and vote. But we are always told who to vote for.
Yes.
Told go and register and vote for and so for presidency, go and register and so for MP and so on, all that. But this time around, the convention has shifted. Young people are saying that we are not just registering as voters, but we are also offering ourselves at the ballot. Not because we are young people, but we feel and think that the time is right for us also to offer alternative leadership to what has been given to us over time. And it's on that note that I'm also going to run for Senate Nairobi County. And we are going to ensure that...
Senate in Nairobi?
Of course, yeah.
All right, that's amazing, Ken, and we will be looking forward to that. But even as you talk about, generational shift, generational war, and this is still to you, Ken, I wonder if you see the youth really standing the test of time, such that even as they champion for their space, they want to take up their space and just thrive in it, that they are going to survive this war, whatever is going on between, the older tax and the younger tax. If these two are fighting, these generational wars, do you see yourselves surviving? Because hawa watu wamekaa, wanajua ground how it's looking. They know how ground operate.
Yes, true. The older politicians, all the older generations have been around for a long time.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter with the current times, even political parties cannot survive without the young people. They cannot survive. Just get out the youth from a political party and that party will die instantly. So in the midst of this war, we must all agree that we have to collaborate. We have to partner. I always say that the relationship between the older generation and the young people should not be a boss-servant relationship. It should be a collaborative relationship. So that when the young people have got something they think should be incorporated, we sit down and agree. If the older generation feels like this one cannot happen at this time, we agree, okay, it cannot happen at this time. At what point should we incorporate this? Because if you say that the older generation controls the finances and the resources, well, it's true. But if they want to mobilize, who are they mobilizing? They never mobilize their age mates. They go mobilizing young people.
Is it because they're using them, or they actually see the potential in them?
And who is mobilizing those young people? It is another young person who is being sent to go and mobilize other young people.
So the youth are mobilizing themselves. But aren't these older leaders really appreciating the fact that you play a very big role, in these political parties? Are they giving you the attention and that you need?
Well, that's a challenge. And actually, that is what led to the breakout of Linda Mwananchi, if you look at it keenly. Yeah. The young people, by extension, to some extent, felt like we are no longer being listened to, whereas we are doing much to sustain the existence of the party. You know that? And like I mentioned earlier on, in the opposition side as well, the young people have got a feeling that we are not being listened to, but to some extent, we feel like we play a critical role in the survival and existence of this coalition. So then we have to operate, we have to engage as collaborators and partners with a clear understanding that the older generation has got the resources. They can finance, they can do 1, 2, 3. But where is that resource directed to? If they want to do a rally and they want people to be mobilized, people to be branded, people to shout and give ululations, people to make it look like it's energetic, these are the young people that are always there. And they are mobilized by their colleague young people. So at the end of the day, the youth are playing a critical role in whether the party or coalition is going to survive. And on that note, the older generation must agree that it's high time that them and the young people must sit on the table and agree that we are operating as partners and collaborators.
Marion, clearly, the youth, they play a very big role in these political parties, and we will all agree with it. But are they really empowered enough? Even as, you know, Ken says, you're still fighting for your standing and your position in space in these political parties. But do you feel quite empowered enough that even as you continue to mobilize for these politicians, you mobilize among yourselves as youth, that these politicians are actually seeing what you're doing for them and are actually empowering you guys?
The hybrid truth is that the politics in Kenya and the youth is not one-sided. There is this percentage of people that mobilize, just as Ken said. You're very energetic in the ground. You will talk to people, you will go here and there. But there's just that 20% that relies on the old faces to make the decisions for them. The elite people who I was born, I found them there, so if they say this, I will do that. And that is what we are trying to change. We want the youth to come up with something new. We actually want a whole renaissance. So that as we move forward in future, we no longer look at a leader that has led for over 20 to 30 years to make a decision for us. We want someone amongst us, amongst our age, that understands what the youth actually want. We have the same, we are like-minded, yeah.
And when you talk about the youth shaping political movements, because you say, yes, the youth are actually shaping political movements, but if that's the case, why aren't we seeing youth-driven policy agendas? You know, you're so quiet, you're championing there, you're nasema sisi ni Sifuna and the like, so you know, Glinda Mwananchi, the way right now it's the voice on ground. But why aren't we seeing youth-driven policy agendas?
The transition from the old politics to the new politics that we are trying to form right now is not as easy. So there are things that we definitely agree with. The Linda Mwananchi thing, like if they are fighting corruption, we are also agreeing with them. So there are things that we agree with the people that are older than us. So it's not everything that we are against. There are things that we totally agree with them, and we'll move forward with them. And to transit from the old politics to the new politics, it's not as easy. It's not as easy. It takes time. And that's what we are trying to work on right now.
All right. You still have hope? We have 16, 17 months in the general election. You see yourselves doing something constructive before then?
Yes.
Can youth-driven policy agenda, you are a leader in the United Opposition, the youth wing. Do you have something to bring to the table, such that even when you're negotiating for a position, or you just want to have a say on the table, youth-driven policy agendas, do you have them?
Well, we all agree that the young people are shaping the politics of this country.
Yes.
But then the conversation must shift from sloganeering and personality praise and worship, so that we don't end up praise and worshiping people who have been in the system for more than 80 years. People who have been there for overtime, but to some extent nothing much as Nene. Right now the conversation we are having is around the conversation on moving from personalities to policies, job creation, digital economy, opportunities in entrepreneurship, financing, education, and reforms and governance accountability. Because these are the critical areas that affect not only the young people, but the entire country. Remember in 2024 when the people were going to the streets, finance bill was just, just happened as finance bill catalyzes the process, but the people were already cornered with the issues of taxation, unemployment. Young people were talking about unaffordable education. Young people were talking about health system that to some extent could not offer them quality and timely health care. So these are the conversations that we have to have. We need to have right now. And that's why I disagree with the people who tend to think that everything should just be around either it's one term or two term. Not really. the conversation must be around the people. What are the people feeling like? And that's why in the United Opposition, up to now we've not mentioned our presidential flag bearer. Because up to now, I tend to believe, and I believe, that our flag bearer right now is that mama mboga who cannot put food on the table. Is that parent whose child cannot go to school because education funding is not functional. Our flag bearer is that patient who is right now is about to die at Kenyatta Hospital because maybe the SHA system is not functional or they are not able to raise the funds. Our flag bearer then remains that young man and young lady in the village.
This is not who we hear on the ground, Ken.
Who is not able to put something on the table, who are struggling with unemployment. These are the conversations, these are the issues. I'm saying this, let me just land. I'm saying this because the conversation must not be about sloganeering. We have to go to policy. And we are talking about policy. Policies must be solution-oriented. You must speak to policies that will solve a problem that a Kenyan is going through. And that's why I've highlighted those problems and the people who are being affected. So that when we go to the table with the principals, we tell them, guys, we all agree that the president should not go back to the office. But then, we as the opposition, all alternative government, what are we offering to the people that President Ruto is not offering? Get that? So we say, okay, if SHA is not functional, and we agree that SHA is not functional, then what is the alternative of that? So that when we go to our rallies and campaigns, we say SHA is not functional, but when we give the opportunity, we are going to put this in place so that you can get sorted. If we say that affordable, the education system is not as per what the citizens are expecting, then we say, okay, we as the alternative government, we agree that this thing is not functional, but give us an opportunity, we are going to offer you this one. So that at the end of the day, we are shining away from the politics of sloganeering, politics of insults, and politics of bitterness. That is what the young people are asking for. And that is what we must offer.
You know, this is not something that we hear on ground, Ken. When you talk about your flag bearer being Mama Mboga and somebody who is, ako ground pale chini kabisa, most of the time what we hear is one term, this sloganeering, one term must go. We never hear about, this is the policy this is what we have in store for you as the people of Kenya. So what we are doing essentially is preaching water and drinking wine as a united opposition, right? You agree?
Let me tell you. We have the things I've mentioned that are slightly not going well with the people. We all agree that as the alternative government, from where we sit, we cannot implement anything. And whatever, it doesn't matter how good our manifesto might be or how positive we are towards the country, we cannot do much unless we change the people in power. And that's why by extension, we tend to lean towards one term must go. So that the people of Kenya get to understand that whatever we have in store for this country can only be practicable, can only be put into practice if the president of the day exits office. So then we have to first ensure that they all agree with us that this guy must go. Then after that, after we are in agreement that the president must exit office, then I'll tell them, okay, we took this guy home because of 1, 2, 3. Now we are in the office, or we are coming in to implement 1, 2, 3, which we feel will sort out the messes and the issues that the citizens have been crying over and asking the government to deal with. For instance, Anne, recently we saw the scandal on 11 billion shillings SHA. Up to date, nobody has been brought to book. Up to date, the CS is still in the office. Up to date, the president himself has not pronounced himself on that. You see, we might take it lightly, but remember, the 11 billion is not just some money that disappeared. These are lives of people who are dying right now in different hospitals. 11 billion, if you divide that money and decide to construct hospitals, level 4 hospitals, at a cost of around 200 million, we're talking about 5 to 7 hospitals. If you are to put up cancer screening centers, we're talking about 55 centers. So then, these are critical conversations that if we want to deal with, then the perpetrators the people, the enablers of such corruptions, then must exit office first. That's why, as opposition, we first say and insist that President William Ruto need to exit first. It's not personal. It is not something personal.
All right.
It is something based on policies.
So again,
and the
it boils down to sloganeering politics. But let's get feedback. Even as we continue this conversation this morning, we are talking to the youth. Let's see what the people are saying online. Brian from Eldoret says many young people are being paid to attend rallies and push political propaganda online. That's the truth we don't want to talk about. We have Collins watching from Kiambu, and he says, let's stop pretending. Some youth leaders are also benefiting from the same system they criticize. You're a youth leader. Well, you'll be telling us more about that. Let's cross over to X. Stacy is watching from Nakuru. Youth are not the problem. The problem is political parties that only remember young people when they need crowds for rallies. And we have one more here, Mercy from Kisumu. She says, the youth are powerful but divided along tribal and party lines. Until we unite on issues like jobs and cost of living, politicians will keep using us. All right, keep interacting with us on our socials, TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube, on X at TV47 Digital. Our WhatsApp number is 0793267279. Send us a voice note or your video of yourself telling us what you think about our conversation of the day. When we come back, we'll be taking you to Emurua Dikir. We tell you everything that is happening there with regard to the burial preparations for the arrested Member of Parliament, Johanna Ngeno. Stay with us. You're watching Morning Cafe.
Noodles once were my daily crave until they led me into a health cave. Now I strive for meals that heal. Noodles, the aroma, the flavor, just feels like, oh my God, these noodles are good. But then, you're in showbiz, you can't be a ball. You have to be an 8, so.
Junk food is ultra-processed food that has low nutritional value. It is often high in salt, fat, and sugar in very unhealthy quantities.
My name is Nakiat, and I'm 13 years old. I love noodles.
Ultra-processed foods are heavily engineered products, designed with improved shelf life, texture, flavor, and appearance in mind. This makes them super tasty, so they're able to trigger strong cravings.
When I started poetry when I was 2.5, when my school needed a toddler.
All right, welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. You're watching Morning Cafe. This is Youth Perspective. But before we continue with our conversation on the day, I want us to cross over to Emurua Dikir. My colleague Apollo Kamau is on standby to bring us up to speed with the preparations for the burial of the arrested Member of Parliament, Emurua Dikir Johanna Ngeno. As it stands, looks like it's quite flooding in Narok. This morning, we saw that heavy rains are expected there. And this morning is quite cold as well, 13 degrees thereabout, highs of 22 degrees expected today as we projected earlier in the show. So if you can hear me, Apollo, good morning. Tell us, how is the situation in Narok this morning?
Good morning, Anne, from Emurua Dikir Primary School, where the burial of the late Johanna Ngeno, the MP for this area, will be taking place here shortly. It's been a chilly morning after a night of heavy downpour. roads to this place are almost impassable. There's a lot of flooding on the roads. Vehicles are struggling to find their way here, which is way up to this primary school here in Emurua Dikir. This morning, we do expect this service to commence at around 9 in the morning. What is happening? It's just a setup on my left. There are plans to set up the podium, including where the 5 caskets, starting off with the late MP, will be laid here in front of the mourners who will be attending here. And on my right, as you can see, if my camera person, Buju, can pan, we see what is exactly happening here. You can see a handful of mourners have arrived here. Still, the setup is continuing. You can see, setting up the seats, including the guests who will be coming here, starting off with President William Ruto, his deputy, leading the entire government machinery, the executive arm of the government. And then we have Parliament. We have the 2 speakers of the 2 houses of Parliament, that is Amason Kingi. We have Moses Wetangula leading Parliament's delegation, of course led by members of Parliament who will be coming to say farewell to their colleague, the fallen MP. And therefore, this is a very dear moment to many people here. And as you have just seen behind me, the pictures of the handful of mourners who have braved this chilly morning to be here, it shows the love and the affection they have for the late MP Yohana Ngeno, who many people here fondly remember him for fighting for this community, standing with them. And they have returned the favor since 2013 when he rode into Parliament using the KNC party. Then there was 2017. He once again came back using KANU. And then 2022, of course, with the current ruling party, UDA. So we do expect various dignitaries. We are keeping watch on who else will be coming, including opposition leaders. So we are just keeping watch here. But this is a very dear moment for these people. And as you can see, as far as the late Emurua Dikir MP is concerned, remember him and his close aide, Wycliffe Rono, spent the night in their home. And according to Kipsigi's traditions and customs, this usually happens to allow the family and close friends pay tribute and say farewell. So those 5 bodies will be laid here in front as the service commences at 9 this morning. Anne.
All right, thank you so much, Apollo, for that update. And of course, we'll be coming back to you once the service starts. It's very cold in Narok, so we hope you will stay warm. And condolences to the families and residents of Emurua Dikir. I still have my guest in studio, and now we welcome Jared Oye. He is an ODM Youth League. Ken Babu is still here, and Marion Otieno is also here. We're still talking about youth perspective. Are Kenya's youth shaping these new political movements, or are they simply being rallied to defend political leaders and these new camps that are coming up? Jared, that is the question that I posed to Ken and Marion before you came in, and I just want you to weigh in on that as well.
Yes, thank you very much, Anne, for having me and my colleagues this morning. First, maybe before I come into your question, it's also very important also to join the Emurua Dikir people, sending my condolences. They have lost a great leader, the All Kipsigis nation, and the Kalenjin nation as a whole. We mourn as a nation. May the soul of the Mbunge and the other 5 rest in eternal peace. You have asked where the youths are in these movements that have been there. I'm from a political party that is a movement, and I think it's the largest movement that we have ever had for the last 20 years, Orange Democratic Movement Party. And the movements that we have had and we have seen, and there are some that we have even engaged ourselves in the recent days, a number of them have sprouted out of convenience. They are not built on principles and policies. And that's why you see them at some point, they fizzle out so fast. They can't be sustained. I'm also agreeing with my brother Ken when he said that there are some that have been built around personalities and individuals that are not even principled. People come and go, but principles, ideals remain beyond individuals. And that's why we find in most cases, young people, a number of our colleagues, our peers have tried to do the same, but they can't sustain them. A good example that maybe today we can also point out, during the Gen Z movement, during the Gen Z protests and even aftermath, immediately, there were a number of movements that stayed less than a month, some 2 months, then they disappeared. A good example was Inject. When it came, it was a new breath of air, like there's another sheriff in town that maybe can tilt things and make things change. But it didn't stay long as we expected. And number two, now onto the youths. Who are at the center of the movements and who have been tilting and shaping the movements' energy and the ways that they take. The reason that maybe in most cases the youth find themselves getting misused, used, or some of them getting, I'll say, a greater chances and opportunity to present this movement. The youth as well, a number of them come into this movement without understanding their position. Today, my brother is from United Opposition. From the United Opposition, they also have other things. Another thing I think is called Cool, where the youths who are in these political parties, who they call the same alternative government, are coming together. And then Ken as well, also another one, that the United Opposition Youths. So there are two, I'll say there are two movements within one basket. So the youth themselves are now divided in here between. Which side do they fall into in that perspective? From where we are coming from now, ODM, that I think they also touched on the Linda Ground, Linda Wananchi. At some point, as we see it from, these are people who are disagreeing on how things need to be done, but they're not disagreeing on ideals and principles. There are those who feel that, no, we don't need to move so fast in maybe signing the coalition with, we say, the like-minded political parties or other parties. We need to first strengthen maybe our movement, ODM. And then there are individuals who are feeling that maybe the process that was used to get into the office of some party leadership and some members maybe was not duly followed at that point. So that's people who are agreeing on how things need to be done, but not principles and ideals. And again, from that movement, none of them has moved out from the movement. All of them are still in the Orange Movement Party, Orange Democratic Movement Party. So we say that from that movement, we have that, what we call the mature democrats, that we can hold and have the divergent opinions held together in the same movement. And we appreciate that.
So Oye, before you continue, and yes. I hope you don't lose your track of thought with that. What you're saying is that now we are seeing two factions from the ODM party, Linda Ground and Linda Mwananchi. You're saying that these two groups are agreeing at least on one thing, right? That means both of you are hunting from different sides. You are, galvanizing people, the youth, with Linda Mwananchi. You're also bringing this side from Linda Ground, and then you come together with a common goal. Is that what you're doing? Hunting from, different sides?
Actually, we're not hunting for the different sides. We're hunting on the same side. So that this movement is very big.
But you're not seeing eye to eye. Linda Mwananchi, Linda Ground, and not seeing eye to eye.
This is eye to eye. I'll give you a good example. When we had the PG. On our PG, we had the DPL also was there. On our PG, we had Mheshimiwa, there's this Mheshimiwa from Kisi, Namsaujina, it was there. So these people see eye to eye. It's not that they don't see eye to eye. I think that's something that has been spread by, I'll say, the haters and the naysayers.
But where does that ODM rebel group, the term rebel, come from?
It's not a rebel group. Nobody's rebelling in ODM.
So Linda Mwananchi, Linda Ground is one thing?
Actually, who's in the ground is Mwananchi. And Mwananchi is the one who's in the ground. So they are both lendering the people of Kenya. So you can't Linda Ground without Mwananchi.
All right, so Edwin Sifuna faction, Oburu Oginga faction is one thing.
That's ODM thing, and if you're very keen, they are still on the principles, ideologies, and the ideals that Raila Amolo Odinga, the founding party leader, and if you go to the ODM party documents and our position, that's what they are still advancing. From both the leaders, none of them have diverged off. None of them have diverged off from the ODM position or the ODM ideals on the principles of the ODM party.
that term Linda has, you know, the girl child Linda has really suffered in the hands of ODM party. But Marion, what's your take on sloganeering that is currently going on? And Ken brought this up, the one term, the must go. I wonder where you stand with that as a leader, a youth leader at the People Renaissance movement. What do you think about sloganeering politics?
I am not in support of the sloganeering movement because many people would say one term, others would say two term, but as Marion Otieno and maybe other youth that may back me up, I'd say we don't have any term because there are things that we do not agree with the current government, and there are also things that we do not agree with. Let's say maybe two term if it were to happen, it is to happen. There are things that we might not agree also, but if the youth are purposing to form something new, we are purposing to get a new government led by the youth, our slogan is going to be no term because this is our movement. We are not going to go with these ones or that or those ones. Let's come up with ours.
For now, from where you sit, where do you stand? We have this new camp, the Linda Mwananchi camp. Are you in support of that camp, which of course the youth are dominating that camp a lot? I wonder what you think of the Edwin Sifuna-led camp.
As I mentioned earlier, as long as we have like-minded missions, visions, ideologies, I am fully in support.
But are you in support of Linda Mwananchi?
Up to now, there's nothing I disagree because they are fighting high economy levels, so am I. Corruption, police brutality. As you saw in the last rally that Babu Owino was, someone just died because of supporting. Those are things that we are fighting. So as long as we are like-minded, whatever you're doing, I'm in support of. I will support you, even if the many Lindas also fight corruption. I will back them up. But if you come up with your own Linda and you're doing the very things that are being done in the current government, who is going to support you? Nobody.
Ken, do you really get what's happening with ODM? They're saying that these two Lindas are one and the same thing. Perhaps does that point to a power struggle in the ODM, in the ODM party? What do you make of it? Linda ground, Linda Mwananchi, one thing. Jared, hapo umetupoteza kidogo, but what do you think, Ken?
I'm not a member of ODM, and I don't speak for the ODM party, but I'm an observer from outside, the virtue of being Kenyan and being a political player in the space in which the Lindas are also getting into. But as of now, I would say that the two Lindas, with the leaders of the two Lindas are still members of ODM. In as much as Sifuna SG was the NGC said that he is no longer the SG, but he was not ripped off the membership of ODM. So him leading the Linda Wananchi, he is still leading Linda Wananchi from ODM side. Until the NDC is done,
he's still SG.
He still remains to be a member. But then,
SG.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But then if you look at what happened in 94 when Jaramogi died, it's not so much different with what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And I hope that with the time things are going to change. But Anne, I think more important that we should be looking at young people and of course followers of different political factions is the fact that individual leaders will come and go. If there is somebody in this country, and in fact by extension the entire Africa and probably the world, that nobody ever thought that will ever exit the political stage, was Raila Amolo Odinga. But if Baba went down, and today we can no longer hear him talk about anything or give suggestions on anything, then it will be safe for me to say that all these leaders we are seeing will pass. But the policies that we shall have put in place will remain.
That is the youth.
So then, as young people, we must be more focused on policy influencing and putting the agenda on the table. Because I've said this before and I want to say it here. If this country goes down, the people who stands the risk of suffering the most are the young people, because you have longer time to live. If this country is allowed to go to the trenches, we will suffer, my brother and my sister here, and myself, and maybe our families, because we are young, and if you have families, they are young families, we will suffer the biggest tragedy as compared to what the elderly people will go through. So then, our conversation as young people, despite the faction that we are in, we must ensure that if the united opposition is discussing policies or is having a conversation on something, then the young people must be on that table to also contribute as far as the future is concerned.
All right, Jared.
That's the same should happen on the other side, the leaders, and of course the People Renaissance Movement, whose party leader, by extension, is a member of one of the leaders.
Okay. Yeah. All right, and that is why she really don't have a stand at the moment. But I don't want to speak for you.
Direction.
But Jared, yes. Maybe would you say that this signals a youth takeover of political parties, the Linda Mwananchi faction, or this is just a power struggle within ODM? We have the young Turks and we have the older generation. Is this a youth takeover or a power struggle?
First, thank you very much. I'm surprised that her party leader is a member of ODM. And in our constitution, not only in the ODM constitution, but the Kenyan constitution, you're not allowed to belong to two political parties. So if they're running a political party that are leaders from ODM, then I think by that version, automatically she's a member of ODM. I think it's just a movement that...
She will speak for her.
Why are you not being a member of PM?
No, I don't know that.
Be orderly. Yes.
Thank you very much. I think one thing that you have asked that I'll love to have my voice add on is the slogans.
Okay.
Not all slogans are bad. I'm from a youth league, and from our slogan youth league we say that in Swahili, haiwi bila sisi. Translated, it can't be done without us. We can't make policies in the political party, in the country, without engaging and getting youths getting involved. But again, the slogans that I'll say are non-issue. They are not issue-based. We don't know what they talk about. A good example is the one that today people sing about, one term and two term.
Yes.
Give us more about what is around that one term and two term. If you are going to sing to us one term, and then the leaders you are fronting are those who have been there before, there's nothing that I'm doubting Kalonzo Musyoka will bring new on the table. He has been around for 41 years. Gachagua has been here. Eugene has been here, was a minister. Matingi was a minister. Martha Karua, none of them is non-starter. You can say none of them is a newcomer. So what are they going to bring new that they didn't do then when they were holding these powerful offices in the country? So there are slogans which we will say can resonate and can tilt and change how the policies are being made and give youth opportunities and chances to be on the tables, to influence and make the policies. And then the slogans that I'll say, as I put it, we don't even need to give them a chance in our political space. You have asked where the problem with the youths and where the youths fall in now the young Turks, Pale, and now
older generation
veterans, those who have been around for some good time. Linda Mwananchi na Linda Ground, venye nilikuwa nasema
na Linda Cham
na Linda
hiyo ni yake.
Ni yako. In the history of the political parties, I'm going to use two examples. I'm going to use one in South Africa, that is the ANC, and CCM in Tanzania. There are only two generations that have always held political parties together during the turbulence or during when things are not going well. Let me start with our neighbors here, CCM. In 2015, when Magufuli was coming into power, they had a problem because there was a power shift from the non-veterans of the party to an unstarter Magufuli who nobody thought could have come in. It is the veterans of the party, the five of them, who sat down and made peace with the party, gave it a lifetime. When I go to the ANC in South Africa, when they were not having a youth league then, and then Mandela and his comrades, Akina Walter Sizulu and Desmond Tutu, they sat down and said, we the youth will give a breath to the ANC. Today, we the youth in ODM as well. That's why I'm saying we are neither on the Linda ground, Linda on each, we are on the Linda. So we the youth in the ODM, you are saying, these people can still find a common ground, and he was putting it, that are they not seeing eye to eye? And we are seeing that they're seeing eye to eye because we are seeing these leaders, they sit on the same table at some point. We are seeing it's only the youth and the veterans that we have in the ODM as well. And a number of them you people know. We have Prof. Anyang' Nyong'o, we have Senator Agnezani, Timothy Bosire, and Attorney General Muswaku. I'm pretty sure that they are working around the clock behind the curtain to see the things work together. The perceived crack that maybe we may be seeing on Lindas, to have one Linda moving forward. We, the youth from that same political cooperative, we are telling them that we need the energy of these youthful and young tech MPs in the party. That energy, we need it to merge it with the experience of the likes of Dr. Buru Oginga Odinga and the likes for us to move forward. I think it's also very important here to get it clear that we can't see that all the youths are like-minded. We are going to cheat ourselves, and that's why at some point we fall in different political parties on ideals that we subscribe to and we believe in. Saying that it is time for the youth, where we going to take our parents, our mothers outside, just like at home. You can't grow and say that now I've grown enough, I don't need my dad to be around here. You still need that gentleman to guide you. It's the same with our political parties. It's just a setup. You need them to, they have the wisdom, they have been in this way before. I'm pretty sure they know the way. But we have the energy, maybe we don't have a clear map on this way. So we need all of us. We can always find a common ground. I remember in the words of Raila Amolo Odinga, towards the mid last year, when he talked about the conclave, can both generations find a way of working together? This country is bigger than generational cracks that we are trying to plant amongst us.
All right.
It's unfortunate.
Let's sample some of your feedback online. Tuone watu wanasema nini this morning. On Facebook, we have Victor from Thika, and he says, right now, youth politics is just noise on social media. Real decisions are still being made by older politicians behind closed doors. Dennis from Kakamega says, if the youth vote as one bloc, the entire political class in Kenya would panic. Let's cross over to X now. Aisha from Mombasa says young Kenyans should stop worshipping politicians, demand jobs, better education and accountability instead of defending parties online. And we have Faith from Nyeri. She says youth are being mobilized for political fights like Linda Mwananchi or other movements, but after elections, nothing changes for them. All right. We have Diana from Machakos. Diana says, the truth is harsh. Some youth are comfortable being used as long as they get small political favors. And finally, one more from Facebook. Kevin from Nairobi says, let's be honest, Kenyan youth are not shaping politics. We're just online bodyguards for politicians. We spend hours defending leaders who don't even know our names. Ken, what do you think about that last comment here?
I think the young man has put it as it is. In most cases, and I think that was part of my opening remarks. In most situations, the young people tend to lean towards attacking and defending. I don't have issues with being known by name or something, but my main concern is on what are your ideologies as a young person? Why are you even engaged? Why are you in that party in the first place? Why are you in that coalition in the first place? Because I know many young people are not politically aligned and they're just doing well. And I also know many other young people who are politically aligned and they're really doing badly. And I know other young people who are politically aligned and they're also doing well. So then it should be a conversation about what are your ideals? And where do you want to see yourself and any other and other young people who are also depending on you? Because truth be told, I am where I am because of other young people, not just because I am Ken Babu. And if you hear people talk and people draw lines and comparisons, they draw lines and comparisons based on what I've done, what I'm doing, and what I want to do, and where I see myself and my generation. So then, we the young people, we must. I say we because we are many. And if we get serious with the issue of this country, then we are going to bring a change. As we talk now today, Anne, the taxi and boda boda sector is the biggest sector that accommodates more of the young people. Out of 100 youth in the streets, 80% of them are in either Bolt or Ndudi. But today, as we talk right now, there is a tax that has been imposed on these people by the government of the day, where they are taxed directly. But then you ask yourself, if these are the people we are saying you are getting job employments for, but then still we narrow down and tax whatever little they are getting, then how are we providing solutions to these people? Recently, the government said that they are not going to tax people earning 30,000 and below. So where is the boda boda person? In fact, they're not even anywhere close to 30,000. But today, as we talk, they are the biggest target. So what, in that scenario, the young people in the political space, the youth leaders, whether in 2-term or 1-term, we have to come out and defend or offer alternatives to these people, because you are not an exemption. Siku moja naweza amko pate wewe ndio kwa hiyo Bolt unaiendesha, and if you do not come out to protect and defend the colleagues in that sector when you had the opportunity, then you don't have the rights to come and complain when now the government is now feeding on you. Just as I wrap up on that issue, I want to slightly lean toward, engage on what my brother said. I think it's high time that we need to engage the party leaders and the leaders at large with the realities of with the realities of life as they are. Because long over time, the young people have been at the center of mobilization, branding, and of course doing all that can be done. But when it comes to the point of even a party certificate to go and run, so to some extent there's a feeling that the youth cannot
do it.
The youth should not be given a platform or an opportunity to run anyway. So this is a challenge. And this is a call to any young person in a political party, wherever you are. We have to come out and we have to speak to these issues so that these leaders or our elders in these political parties get to know that we are not just hanging around to pass time. We also have ambitions, we also have dreams, and we also think and believe that on that platform we can equally offer alternatives to what is happening and what is on the table.
All right.
So then in 2027, many young people, I've had a meeting with many young aspirants who are also expressing interest in running for different political seats, but their major concern is the party. Are these parties going to give us tickets? Are they even going to give us an opportunity to run?
Just hold on to that thought.
Need to just do one thing.
Just hold on to that thought, Ken. But let's get an opinion from Marion with regard to that point, feedback that we saw on screen right now. Some of you are defending politicians who don't even know your names, and I'll give you this opportunity to also defend yourself. People Renaissance Movement. Tell us about that. Your party leader is also a member of ODM, so by nature you're a member of ODM party. Tell us about that.
I'll begin with saying that information I've also had it from here. So,
who is your party leader?
I do not think I'm allowed to answer that at the moment.
You don't know your party leader?
I know, but I choose not to answer.
Why? Party leader ODM is Oburu Oginga. Party leader DCP is Rigathi Gachagua. Party leader, why Patriotic Front is Kalonzo Musyoka.
You'll also hear party leader PRM is so and so.
So who is party leader PRM, People Renaissance Movement?
Now the time will come that will disclose that. The time has not yet.
We have to link this party to someone.
Or you are the party
probably.
There are chances that you are. That's amazing.
Very high chances.
Stop harassing Marion, Jared.
Very high chances. But the statement that was mentioned in the last comments, just as he has mentioned, worshipping politicians is unhealthy for democracy. Because the moment you worship a party leader, that means you cannot hold anyone accountable. And with that, I just like to say the youth right now are very aware, whether students or activists or people in the age group of being identified as the youth. They are very aware. They follow policies. They know political alliances. So they know who to hold accountable. They know who to question. So I do not really think a lot of people, rather the youth currently, worship party leaders because most of us know what is going on. Most of us are aware of what is going on. And what you just mentioned just before we dived into the topic of the party leader of PRM, People Renaissance Movement is offering that opportunity of giving people tickets, because I am very aware that if you go to these big political parties, let's say ODM or my brother's party over here, it is very difficult for you to get a ticket. As a youth, maybe if
they'll tell us,
just comes and say, I want to vie for a Senate seat, it will be very difficult. But now if you come to People Renaissance Movement, it's a very easy process.
It would be easy if you told them, you know, People Renaissance Movement is led by so and so and so and so is giving, you know, political parties to the youth quite easily.
Well, I agree with you. However, I will not be able to answer that today.
Jared, let's leave Marion aside. Let's not give her pressure here and said. But Jared, you know the comment, one comment that we also got is that if the youth would vote as a bloc, then politicians would panic. Do you think there's a possibility for the youth to vote as a bloc, you know, come 2027? I wonder what you think, if you agree on one thing. I also saw a comment, one of the feedback that we got, somebody say that one of the things that are currently stressing the youth is tribalism. You're still divided, you know, along tribal lines. So is it possible to vote as one bloc?
Yes, thank you very much. I love the question that are posted by our peers there. And first, I think social media is playing a very critical role. We can't rubbish it away. It's as much that some may see that young people are just parroting and making maybe unnecessary comments, follow-ups, and posts. It is also delusional to agree or not to agree. I think this we can also follow up with the USA last election that they had. We saw how social media influenced that election. Today we can also assert here with even the current war going in the Middle East between Iran, USA and US. Social media plays a very critical role. We in Kenya here will attest, leave alone maybe the finance bill that we had in 2024. In the recent past, even yesterday, we saw how the PDF was trending. We were there with my brother, Ken Babu. So social media plays a very critical role today. We are in a digital, I'll say the digital world, and things have changed. Number two, when someone asks political class, where we're sitting here, people may don't know that Ken is a political class. Political class is not tied to a single generation. I'm sitting here, I'm pretty sure that maybe I'm in political class, but I know him is a political class. So if I say that you're having a problem with the political class, then I'm wondering if you're going to have a problem with everybody then, because there are those of us who are aspiring to lead and be in the political space. So obviously we'll be in that political class. So it's not about a generation or a age, as maybe some of our peers may see it. I think we also need to make it clear that we don't have a problem with political class, we have a problem with individuals in that space. You have asked a question on youth voting bloc.
Right.
Youth voting bloc is a reality. Today we have proper political education, not from civic education that we have had before. In my generation, my brother here will test that there's proper political awakening and young people are taking up their civic right, not only to vote, but also to vote. That's why it's vying for senator in Nairobi. Throwing that ring, throwing his heart in the ring is not an easy thing, deciding that I'm going to do this. That shows how young people are decisively going to be elements in the election 2027. Again, youth voting as political bloc is we can see it with the kind of mobilization that is happening and even the conversation. Though some people feel, following the previous election that we had, the by-elections, that the turnout was low. I think also this could have been attributed to it was not an election period. A number of young people, maybe some of them were engaged in school, some were in their jobs, so maybe they didn't get opportunity to go to the ballots. But looking up to 2027, I'm pretty sure that young people will tilt and will make a decisive winning to either the side that they'll choose to vote for. Possibly ODM, I think the side that will be, may get a win. On the same line of the youths voting as political bloc. And in most cases, we have been divided three eyes as youths. We have youth, say the urban youths. Urban youths, people see them differently. In the urban youths, again, they're divided two eyes. There are youths who are in the suburbs and they're the ones who are in the slums. So people do approach these youths differently.
So classism.
The classism in the youth, which of course we're also trying to fight. Leave alone the tribalism. We are being put in class as youth. Then we have the ones in the rural, on the village youths. People also see them that they're semi-literate, they're illiterate, or they don't understand the happenings in the country. But I'll tell you, from where I'm coming in Kanyamwako Sewe, small village called Nyingino, those youths are really engaged and involved, and they know the happenings today. And the youths today, as you have asked again, not only are they going to be used as bodyguards, as tea servers, as paper carriers, and just as flower girls and maybe boys to be seen around. These people are taking charge of this country. And from the conversation that we are getting, or from even our political alignment, it may be in DCP, maybe in DAPK, she's in that movement she have said. But at the end of the day, we can always find a ground that when we come to talk about what's affecting us, doesn't choose the political party and affiliation that I'm falling into. Lastly, on the tribalism, that for the longest time, these are narratives. But again, you'll agree with me that on my end, I'm not seeing problem falling in a tribe, coming from a tribe. And even in the mature democracy, America, we see them, we have the people of color, that is the Negroes and the American blacks, and then they also have the Native Americans. Here in Africa, we can't divide ourselves in color and the texture of our hair. It is the tribe I'm coming from. I think that's the beauty of Kenya. But when we come to now the voting and the political decisions that we are making, I think shouldn't be tied to the tribe where I'm coming from. When Ken says that we have a young man who's now battling in Kenyatta because SHA is not working, he's not going to choose whether you're a Kalenjin or a Kikuyu or a Luo or a Luya. It is you as a Kenyan. But again, it's not only the youths who are being tribalized or being put in cocoons and being divided. The country has been divided for the longest time. But today we are seeing the healing of from the tribal affiliations and division in our political space. And youths are coming together. I'm seeing Luos in DCP. I'm seeing Luos in DAPK. I'm seeing Kikuyus in UDA. I'm seeing Wakamba in ODM. And I think they are not using these political parties and this movement are aligned on their tribal affiliation they're coming from. I think with the civic and proper political education that we have been offering, that we are even doing right away now here, the youth are deciding on principles, on ideologies, on policies of this movement that we are having.
So it all depends with perspective. Tribalism in itself is not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, depending on how it's being driven.
All right. But do you think we are seeing a repeat of past election cycles where youth are, mobilized early, they're used it intensely, and then, after election, they're just forgotten like that? Or are we seeing this, cycle changing come 2027? Because we saw a comment that was tied to, what I'm asking you now.
That is the biggest fear that many young people express whenever we engage outside there. The fear of being used and being left after the food is on the table. But I want to give the young people hope that for a long time, we've been in the kitchen, participating in the cooking, in the baking of the cake. We sweat, we do everything, we put in ingredients together. But when the cake is brought on the table, the young people are told to hold on in the kitchen as the elderly leaders do the subdivision of the cake. But this time around, we are coming with them. We are coming with them to the dining table, and we shall ensure that we also get a piece of the cake. We shall participate in the cooking of the cake, in the preparing and baking, but still we must ensure that we are on the table. And what I would like to say again is, many young people are soccer fanatics, and they all understand that a team cannot win a match if they are not on the playfield. It doesn't matter how good you are. Even Barcelona, they cannot win a match unless they are on that field. And the team can only be given a walkover if the other team is absent. But the team that gets the points must be on the field.
All right.
So the young people, then we have a responsibility, a religious responsibility to be on the field and ensure that we are also participating and we're also adding up. On the issue of IBC, if you allow me, IBC is expecting around 6.3.
We'll be getting there. We'll be getting there, Ken. Just hold your horses.
Fine.
We'll be getting there. But Marion, what would you say the young people really, really want? You are from, PRM. You say PRM is youth, young people centered, youth centered, right? Looking at everything that is happening right now, you say that the young people are being mobilized. They're used as goons, even in some of these rallies. Then where does that leave the youth? What do you want? Where do you stand?
I think the youth need someone they can listen to, someone in their age group, because many times let me use an example of unemployment or financial instability. It is very easy to influence someone to work for you politically. Like, I will pay you a little bit of money, but in return, I want you to do this and this for me. But because I need the money, I will do it. Forgetting about my personal interest, now I will be working for a political leader. And that is the thing we are trying to curb. The moment we have a leader that is within our age group, that person, very high chances, understands what we are going through as the youth. And that said, there's of course the risk of apathy. We all need to take the voters' apathy very serious, like call out each other, tell a friend to tell a friend, go and get a voter's card, go and get a voter's registration, so that we can all achieve what we are actually fighting for. Because without that, we'll keep on having the same tears for a whole 5 years, again and again and again.
So as it stands, Jared, looks like poverty is the equalizer in politics, if I'm getting for what Marion is saying. But so when the participation of the youth appears to be economically incentivized, as it looks at the moment, then what happens to the independence of the youth when it comes to making decisions around politics, with regard to who to vote for, who serves their best interest? What will that independence that the young people have so dearly talked about since 2024 during the Gen Z uprising, talked about, what will that do to that independence? Will that still hold value?
Thank you very much. I think it is also very important to add my voice in one thing. As I answer that question, what do we want?
Before you lose your track of thought, you can just start with this one.
Let me just start with you. In the wise sayings, and the great teacher, also for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, tells us that the person who feeds you controls you. That token you're being given controls you. And she put it, you can't hold me accountable when my sources of income are in your life. When the food you're eating on the table, I'm the one who contributed into. So that's have affected our political, youth political independence. Because you find that we say that the veteran politicians or our political class, as they quote it, have economized our politics. They have put it, like today we call it the economics, where someone invests. And this, I think, has also contributed deeply into our corruption rise. Because when I'm going to invest this amount of money, I expect a return. This is not charity work. We don't have charity work in politics. So these people invest in the youths, and then that token you are given is your role that is untarmacked. That token you are given is your fee, or you say the help that has not been remitted to the help portal. So this has happened over time and over time again, and I think again they have done it deliberately. It has enslaved our economy, and again it has also made our leaders and some of our political class people not to empower youth economically. Because when Ken is empowered, Ken will not be available for that cheap handout. And I'm pretty sure again, this again has deeply contributed in the job creation and opportunities that we may have as a country. Because now we find out today, I think when we are being ranked in Africa, Kenya appears in top 10 in the corruption matrix. And it's contributed deeply in our expensive politics. The other day when CS John Bird talked about that we have the quote by quote sanguinians, that we say these are people who follow these leaders for handout. They are not, what are you bringing? I know Ken is a policy maker. If he sits down, he will give you a policy. Then there's another gentleman who works around for 1,000 or 2,000 in return. And these are contributed deeply and locked out potential young leaders who deserves to lead this country, because a number of them may not be in good position to economize or to be able to pay you to give them chances and opportunity in the political space. There's a question that you cut off from me, if you allow me. 1 second.
That will be your parting shot. Just hold on to that. So I hope you don't lose your track of thought. But let's talk about IEBC. Now that Ken wanted to talk about this, it's very, very important as well. IEBC launched a special voter registration drive yesterday, 4th of March, and it will be going up until the 7th of March. That is tomorrow. It's targeting young people at the People's Dialogue Festival here in Nairobi. It's happening in Uhuru Park. But now the question would be, if young people are now the largest political bloc in the country, and of course you are taking part in this mobilization, and you're mobilizing for these politicians, but people are not there in the registration desks at the IEBC, such that, IEBC has to come up with something new to just, to attract the young people. Then how do we intend to turn that power that, the youth have in their hands into something, visible? Ken?
Well, allow me first put on record that yesterday alone, I managed to register a good number of young people within Nairobi County. And I want to say that it is our individual responsibilities to move and urge this population or this generation to participate directly, either as voters, as voters and as also candidates. IEBC is targeting around 28.5 million registered voters by 2027. And out of all that, they are targeting about 6.3 million voters nationwide, new. And majority of those people are young people who have maybe first-time voters, and some are now coming on board. So what IEBC is doing, I would say, well, they are trying, they are pushing on. But when the first time IEBC launched the voter registration, process. Last year. I'm on record on that, telling the chairman to at least decentralize the registration centers, so that these young people can access the points and everything. But again, there's an issue I've been raising time over time, but I don't know if they are taking it on, to not. If, and you can, there are young people in this country who do not leave their houses. Somebody lives in a bedsitter somewhere. They work online. They can spend the whole week or the whole month in their houses. The same person can register on eCitizen, get their driving licenses, get their IDs, get their all stuffs, can even buy a vehicle on eCitizen. Why can't the IEBC integrate a system where people can log in and register as voters from where they are? It is possible. It is possible if they're intentional about it. So the chairman of IEBC needs to also work with this team, IT team, to integrate a system where these young people will be able to register as voters from where they are. That one is possible. And then now, our responsibility now remains on mobilization towards voting. Get that? So that we ease the work from the IEBC side and we ease the work for the young people as well.
All right. Yeah. Do you think that will actually, solve the voter apathy that we see?
Two issues. One, it will solve the issues of voter registration. And then now the young people in political space and the leaders and all aspirants, those who are looking for seats, now take the responsibility of mobilizing those registered voters to come on board, because, to come and vote, because you cannot go and mobilize people who are not registered to come and vote. So then IEBC has to make it easy for people to register fast, and then leave the mobilization for turnout
to the young people,
to the contestants and young people and any other person who is interested.
Marion, is there a disconnect between political activism and electoral participation among young people as it stands? Because IEBC, they're recording, they're talking about, they're expressing concern about youth voter apathy. So is there a disconnect between these two?
Slightly, because what I I'm seeing is we just have to differentiate the thing of impression and impact. We can register, as he said, we can register a lot of people, but will they turn up to create the impact that we are actually rallying against? So we need to register voters. Voters need to also register themselves, but that's not the end. When it comes to the voting period, they also need to go and vote. And don't just vote because you want to vote. Vote for a leader that you know will make a difference. Yeah.
Jared, and as you also give us your parting shot, because we only have like 3 minutes, and we will do a round, and I want us to use this time very, you know, very nicely, at least. If you're talking about revolution in Kenya, and we see the youth now forming these movements, and they're also the forefronts of these movements that are coming up, then is it possible for the young people to bring this revolution if at all they're not registering as voters? We only have 17 months, yeah? I wonder if this is enough time for the youth to actually bring revolution in this country, if at all they are not actually registering as voters, as IEBC puts it.
Yeah, I think it is very possible. First, we say that if we must revolt, let us revolt at the ballot. And I'm also challenging the young people, my peers, that if we must protest to the polling station, and IBC is rolling out the mass voter registration. We saw a very sluggish or a very low turnout during the continuous voter registration, which was so unfortunate. We couldn't understand why, because we were expecting a big turnout of young people to go and register. As Ken is putting it, and Marion, I'm in agreement with them, but there's a challenge. I think now with the mass voter registration, the IBC is going to bring the booth to your schools. They're going to bring it to your polling station close to you. Turn out. If you must protest to the polling booth, registration. Have your voters card. Kama ni silaha unahitaji silaha muhimu zaidi 2027 ni kukuwa na kura. Chukua kura kijana. Ya pili muhimu zaidi. We talk about revolution. We can't revolt without kipande, without kura. So if you're not a registered voter, and then you are the worst enemy of the revolution that you are looking into in 2027. If your voice can't count in 2027, then you are contributing on electing bad leaders. If you fail to elect a good leader, and then the person you don't want will be elected by the people who think they are good to them. So young people must turn out to vote. You say this, the parting shot?
Yes. What do you want as the young people?
What do we want, young people? From the ODM Youth League, we have 4 outstanding pillars that we have worked on. We have furnished them. We're just about to launch them. First, we want to revolutionize our agriculture. I think agriculture, Kenya is an agricultural nation, and for the longest time it has been looked different, and young people have been shying off from getting engaged in the production of our economy on the cultural sector. Number 2 is industrialization. A country cannot turn around when industrialization is not given a priority, which is unfortunate. That's why we export labor to Lebanon and other countries in the Middle East, which is unfortunate, because we can't get up employment without industrialization. Number 2 is, which is also very important, is educational. Our education pillar is very clear. We may disagree on maybe the funding models, but we forget that this thing comes from today we have the CBC. It must be understood properly that what do we want with our education. With the 844, it was a good one, but they didn't foresee on the job market after the graduation. And we support the CBC in full implementation.
All right.
Lastly, as I finish, is on economics again. I think on our side, we are saying that we embrace the full inclusive economic growth and engagement, not bottom up, leaving another class off from the economic engagement of our country. La mwisho zaidi, youth to join these political parties. That's why the decisions are being made. That's why the cake is being cooked, as he was putting it.
Ken, I want you to give us your parting shot, but use this time nicely. Don't be like Jared, kindly. What do you want as the young people?
Thank you. Mine first, let me allow me say that the biggest threat to anybody in this country now is the 6.3 million voters who are young people who are not who have not registered yet. Then we just need to have these people registered, because that is the biggest threat to both the opposition and the government. These people must register as voters. Then now they'll make the decision. Mine is to also take this opportunity to call on the young leaders and the youth outside there. We have been placed at the corner over time, that we cannot be at the center of decision making. 2027 gives us an opportunity to also be on the table and participate fully through policy proposals, and of course offering ourselves as alternatives to what is on the platform right now. So then young people, we have to step out. We need to not just register as voters, register as a voter and also offer yourself for the elected positions in different capacities. You are not just running because you are young. You've also built enough capacity to lead this country. And finally, as I wrap it up, I will be running for Nairobi Senate in 2027, not because I am a young person, but because I also feel like and that I've grown the capacity to also offer alternative to the people of Nairobi, and also be at the table and contribute actively and immensely to the decisions that influence this country entirely, and of course the young people and people of my generation.
All right, so all the best, Ken. Marion, give us your parting shot. And maybe convince us, you know, PRM. We still don't know your party leader, but hopefully, you know, the Holy Spirit will talk to you this morning to talk to us.
Amen. Anyway, as we wind up, I would like to urge not just the youth, but everyone to turn up during the voting time in 2027. I would also urge very many people to register themselves under the People Renaissance Movement. It is a registered party. You'll find it in the ORPP. And yeah, the interview has been so nice. So let's look forward to knowing our party leader.
All right, that is Marion Otieno, chairperson, Kajiado County People Renaissance Movement. We have Jared Ogie just right next to her. He's an ODM Youth League. And of course, Ken Babu, Youth Chair, United Opposition. And hopefully
Nairobi Senate.
Absolutely. All right, that brings us to the end of this conversation, and thank you so much, gentlemen and lady, for making time for us to talk about youth perspective. We're looking forward to see you again, maybe, you know, next Friday, to talk about matters youth. But we're taking a very short break. When we come back, we'll be taking you to Emurua Dikir, Narok. Or let's just cross over there. There's a live pictures from Emurua Dikir. My colleague Polo Kamau is on standby. Some bodies have already arrived in Emurua Dikir, in Narok rather, of the 5 victims who perished in the helicopter crash on Friday last week, including Member of Parliament Johanna Ngeno. They will be laid to rest today. The body of Johanna Ngeno is yet to arrive. According to tradition, the body is supposed to leave the house from 10 a.m. today. So more details will be coming in the course of the show. And keep it TV 47. We'll be showing you live. Once again, my colleague Apollo Kamau is on standby. Once again, just to remind you, it's very, very cold in Narok. It's also flooding. It's 13 degrees this morning, and we hope our, people who are there, everybody who is going there, will get there safely, and of course keep warm even as you go there to mourn with residents of Emurua Dikir today. Right, for now, let's take a very short break. We'll be back with the entertainment of Feel Good Friday. The Weekend Cube Bansi Kimu is already on standby, so stay tuned for good hits, great hits and good vibes. You're watching Morning Cafe. My name is Anodida.